Your dog already knows whether you love them. Not from the toys, not from the food, from 7 moments that happen inside your house every single day, and most owners are getting them almost right. Almost. N. Here's what the neuroscience actually says. 1. Eye contact. In 2015, a Japanese research team did something no one had tried before. They measured oxytocin, the bonding hormone in 30 dogs, and their owners at the exact same time. And when a dog and their person made eye contact and held it, both of them got the flood, simultaneously, across species, the same neurochemical, the same moment. Then they ran the same test on wolves raised by humans from birth. Nothing. This loop didn't just develop, it co-evolved specifically between dogs and us over tens of thousands of years. No other animal on Earth can open that channel with a human. So, the next time your dog looks at you, don't look away. Hold it soft. A few seconds. That's not a small thing. That's the whole thing. Most of the advice you've heard about dogs, some of it is backwards, not slightly off, completely reversed. And one of the most repeated pieces of dog advice is one of the worst offenders. We'll get there. 2. How you talk to them. You already know the voice, the one you'd never use at work. High pitch, drawn-out vowels, soft edges. You probably feel a little ridiculous using it. Don't. Researchers at the University of York played 3 types of audio to dogs. The warm voice with meaningful words, the warm voice with filler content, and normal adult speech. Dogs only moved toward the speaker and stayed near them in one condition. When the tone and the words both carried meaning, a separate fMRI study confirmed that dogs process words with a left hemisphere bias, the same lateralization humans use for language. And the reward center only lit up when tone and meaning aligned at the same time. Your dog isn't responding to baby talk. They're passing a full signal. Tone plus content, simultaneously, every time you open your mouth. 3. The greeting. For years, the standard advice was, ignore your dog when you walk in the door, keep it calm, don't reward the excitement. Logical, right? In 2021, a survey of nearly 2,000 dog owners found that the owners of dogs with the worst separation anxiety were already doing exactly that: lower arousal greetings, calmer arrivals. The dogs weren't calmer, they were worse. The advice had the cause and effect completely inverted. A separate study measuring oxytocin at reunion found only one condition kept it elevated after contact ended: verbal greeting combined with physical touch. Both. Together. When you walk through that door, you have a window, 30 seconds, maybe less, before the neurochemical moment closes. Kneel down, say their name, touch them. Don't waste it performing calmly. There's one item on this list that has nothing to do with what you do for your dog. It has everything to do with what's happening inside your head when you sit near them. And the research on it is genuinely unsettling. That's coming up. 4. The walk. Here's what a walk looks like from your dog's perspective when you control the pace and route. An escort. Movement without information. Exercise without meaning. In 2019, researchers split 20 dogs into 2 groups. One did structured heel work for 2 weeks. The other did nose work, freely following scent, choosing where to stop and for how long. Same duration. Completely different outcome. The nose work dogs became measurably more optimistic, tracked through a validated cognitive bias test. The heel dogs showed no change at all. Olfactory freedom activates the dopamine reward system in a way that structured movement doesn't reach. Your dog's nose processes up to 100,000 times more information than yours. Every time you pull them away from a smell, you're pulling them away from the primary way they read the world. Let one walk today be theirs. You'll cover less ground. They'll come home in a genuinely better state. 5. Let them win. The idea that you should always win at tug of war is one of the most persistent pieces of advice in dog training. Let the dog win, and they'll think they're in charge. In 2002, researchers tested this with 14 golden retrievers. 20 sessions where the dog always won. 20 was where the dog always lost. They measured dominance-related behavior across all of it. Winning had no effect on dominance. None. What changed was this. Attentiveness went up after play regardless of who won. And the most playful dogs showed more focus toward their owner after the sessions they won, not less. The separate finding from the same research area is the one worth sitting with. Warm praise and physical affection during play predicted lower stress afterward. Disciplinary behavior during the same game predicted a cortisol rise. It was never about who held the rope. 6. 3 minutes before meals. An fMRI study in 2016 trained 15 dogs to associate two different symbols, one with food, one with verbal praise from their owner. For most dogs, the reward center is activated equally to both. For some, it activated more to the praise. Those same dogs, given a real behavioral choice between running toward food or running toward their owner, chose their owner. The method matters more than the duration. Dogs trained with aversive methods had elevated cortisol during sessions and more pessimistic behavior tested outside of training, as though the stress was bleeding into everything else, 3 minutes before their meal. Easy behaviors, clear, positive feedback. You are, quite literally, training their brain to process your voice the same way it processes food. That accumulates. The last one requires you to do absolutely nothing. And it might be the hardest of all 7. 7. Sit with them and do nothing. A study on sheltered dogs compared 3 conditions: active petting, play, and a person sitting passively in the same room with no interaction at all. All 3 produced nearly identical cortisol reductions. Presence alone, still, quiet, doing nothing, was as effective as touch. But a 2025 study adds something that reframes everything. Researchers tracked 85 dog-owner pairs and measured cortisol in both over time. The variable that most reliably elevated the dog's cortisol wasn't a stressful job. It wasn't a busy schedule. It was a work-related rumination on the owner's inability to mentally leave their day at the door. The dog's stress tracked the owner's internal state, not their behavior, what they were doing with their thoughts. Which means sitting next to your dog while mentally rerunning your 4 p.m. meeting is not the same thing as being there. Once a day, close the loop. Phone down. Not just physically present, actually there. Your dog is already reading what's inside you. The only question is what they're finding. None of this requires money. None of it requires an hour. It's eye contact you don't break. A greeting with actual warmth in it. A walk where you follow them instead of the other way around. The bond your dog has with you is written in oxytocin, in cortisol patterns, in a reward center that has learned to treat your voice like food. It's biological, it's measurable, and it gets built or quietly eroded in the moments that feel too small to matter. If this shifted something for you, subscribe and drop a comment. Which one are you actually going to try first?